If you've ever thought to yourself, I'm not that interesting, you're not alone. A lot of people quietly carry that belief, even people who from the outside seem unique, talented, or charismatic. But here's the thing. Feeling uninteresting usually says more about the ways you see yourself than about who you actually are. Psychologically, we're terrible judges of our own interestingness. One reason is something called the spotlight effect. You live inside your head 24/7, so your experiences, your thoughts, your quirks, they all feel normal to you. You've repeated your own stories so many times in your mind that they lose their shine. You assume other people see you the way you see yourself. Ordinary, predictable, maybe even boring. But here's the truth. What feels normal to you is often completely novel to someone else. You're desensitized to your own life. Think about it this way. You probably know a friend or coworker who swears they're boring, but you find them fascinating. Maybe it's the way they think, or the way they see the world, or just the subtle details they don't even notice about themselves. That's the same way other people see you. You just don't get the luxury of experiencing yourself from the outside. Another reason you think you're not interesting comes from comparison. Social media has made this worse. We're constantly bombarded with highlight reels of people traveling the world, achieving things, living seemingly cinematic lives. Against that backdrop, your day-to-day existence, waking up, working, cooking dinner, feels painfully dull. But that's an illusion. You're comparing your unedited reality with someone else's curated projection. And the more you compare, the more you start believing that unless your life is filled with drama or achievements, you're not worth noticing. But being interesting isn't about spectacle. It's not about having the wildest stories or the most glamorous lifestyle. At its core, being interesting is about two things: perspective and presence. Perspective means the way you see and process the world. Two people can go through the exact same experience and walk away with completely different insights. That's what makes someone captivating, the way they filter life through their mind and express it back. And presence means actually being engaged, curious, alive in the moment. The people you find most interesting are rarely the ones just trying to impress you. They're the ones paying attention, the ones asking real questions, the ones who are curious about you, about the world, about ideas. Here's where psychology gets in the way. If you believe you're uninteresting, you'll start to behave like it. You'll hold back in conversations, edit yourself down, avoid sharing opinions, or second-guess your stories before you tell them. That self-censorship strips away the very things that make you unique. So the irony is, it's not that you're actually boring. It's that your belief you're boring causes you to act in ways that seem less engaging. And there's a deeper layer too. Sometimes when people say, I'm not interesting, what they really mean is, I don't value myself. They've decided that who they are, what they think, what they feel, what they care about, doesn't really matter. That's not about being uninteresting. That's about a lack of self-worth. And self-worth doesn't come from dazzling others. It comes from recognizing your own intrinsic value before anyone else validates it. So what do you do with all this? You stop trying to be interesting, and you start trying to be interested. The most magnetic people in the world are not necessarily the most accomplished or dramatic. They're the most engaged. They notice details others overlook. They listen deeply. They ask better questions. They treat everyday life as something worth exploring. And that energy is contagious. People walk away from them not thinking, wow, what a fascinating person, but thinking, I felt alive in that conversation. And here's the part that might actually inspire you. Your life is already interesting. You just haven't been seeing it that way. The ordinary parts of your story are extraordinary to someone who doesn't live them. Your private thoughts and perspectives are things no one else can replicate. The more you lean into your authentic way of seeing the world, the more magnetic you become. So the next time you catch yourself thinking, I'm not interesting, pause and recognize that this is just a trick of the mind. You're not boring. You're just too close to your own life to see its value. And the more you stop performing and start engaging, really engaging with the people and world around you, the more you'll realize that being interesting was never about impressing anyone. It's about being alive enough to notice that you already are.